Hello and welcome back to CSC 151 Computer Applications. In this video, we're going to be going over tables, and I specifically put the background to white just to prove a point because I'm going to make essentially a checkerboard type of style here. So, to make a table, first things first, you must make a table tag. So there's the start of my table, there's the end of my table. I don't know why that's slightly indented more. Okay, not going to ask questions. There we go, now it's in line. So, tables are made up of certain things, and we have to essentially make the grid of the table. Now, in Excel, you had columns and rows. So, in HTML, you have rows first. So if I do TR for table row, I have start of row 1, end of row 1. And then inside that table row, I can have TD for table data. So there's cell 1, end of cell 1. So if I have, I don't know, I'll just put a 1 here for their cell 1. It'll pop up right there, their cell 1. And then I have, TD, there's cell 2. And if I have another TD, there's cell 3. And there's 1, 2, 3, all right next to each other. Now, if I do the same thing, and let me just copy and paste the entire concept, now I have the start of row 2, end of row 2. And you see I have 1, 2, 3 now. And then I also have another, start of row 3, end of row 3, and I have cell 1, cell 2, cell 3. So, much like how they're seemingly aligned right now, the row 1, cell 1, is aligned with row 2, cell 1, which is aligned with row 3, cell 1. So if I were to do something to the first column, and I'd said like style equals width, and I make that width 200 pixels, you'll notice that column 1 and also column 1 and also column 1, all of them get pushed over 200 pixels. It's the same thing as if we were doing some sort of, moving the entire A column in Excel. One cell doesn't move against it. The entire column will move when you move the width of the column. So, and let me just make that, actually, let's just make that 150 here, because I'm just probably going to, 150, not 1,500. There we go. Because I'm probably going to take that, and I'm going to probably do that here, and do that here as well. There we go. So now I've got myself, essentially, 3 columns, column A, column B, and column C, and all of them are 150 across, even though I didn't actually type anything in the cells down here yet. Same thing if I wanted to do a row. If I wanted to make this row style equals height, and I make the height, 100 pixels, boom. The first one, you'll notice, is now 100 pixels big. And that goes from all of row 1 to the end of row 1. So let me just, copy this. Do that for row 2, do that for row 3. And now I've got this nice sort of grid that's almost checkerboard-ish. And just to prove a point that they are, in fact, individual cells in checkerboard, that's why I said I was going to do this. So, color black. Oh, sorry, the color is already black. Background black. There we go. There's a black one. So if I do style equals, and let me just copy that. And there's background black over there. And while I do this, I'll do style equals background black. Boom. There's the middle one. And let me just copy that, and copy that. And as you can see, I have each individual cell here. So I could also do something like changing the padding. So for example, maybe in this cell with this 2 right here, I'll go and say, you know, padding 50 pixels. Now the cell padding is 50 pixels wide, so that 2 is 50 pixels in from the edge. And of course, that kind of messed up with all my little formulas and calculations because I'm zoomed in and whatnot. But if I wanted to change the padding of each cell, I could change the padding of each cell. If I wanted to add stuff like shadows or an outline, I could do that too. Like if you'll notice, these cells don't actually touch. There's a little bit of a gap in between them. That's because there's like an invisible border that's happening. I could change the size of that border as well if I really wanted to. But point being here is I need to start a table and end a table. Inside that table, I need to start a row and end a row. Inside that row, I have table data. Those table datas essentially are cells. The first cell will be in your first column. Your second cell will be your second column. Your third cell will be your third column, so on and so forth. If you have multiple rows, the first column in the second row will be lined up with the first cell of your first row. Your third cell of your third column. Your third cell of your third row will be lined up with the third cell of your second row, which will be lined up with the third cell of your first row. Basically, ABC is always ABC, is always ABC. If you want something to be lined up in a certain way, like say you want to have all letters on the left-hand side, all numbers on the right-hand side, all symbols in the middle, well, then that means you have to make it so that there's cell 1. Cell 1 has its, letter or number or whatever I said. You have to just physically make the columns, and it will automatically put the columns in order based on the table data that you put in. And that's how a table works. Thank you very much for this. In the next video, we're going to actually cobble this all together, and we're going to make a website from scratch. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to make, a cafe menu or a cafe website. So I'll see you there in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you next time.